Life is short, not in the way people casually say it, not in the way it appears on motivational posters or social media captions, but in a deeper, more unsettling, almost uncomfortable trap that most people spend their entire lives trying to ignore. Because if you truly understood how short life is, it would change everything. The way you wake up in the morning, the way you spend your time, the people you keep around you, the dreams you chase, and most importantly, the things you choose to ignore. You see, most people don't waste their lives because they are lazy. They waste their lives because they think they have time. Time to fix things later. Time to chase their dreams one day. Time to become the person they know they could be eventually. But eventually is the most dangerous word ever created. Because eventually becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes the next week. Next week becomes the next year. And before you realize it, your life is gone. And what's left is not regret for the things you tried and failed at, but regret for the things you never ever dared to start. When you are young, life feels endless. You wake up thinking you have decades ahead of you, and technically you do. But what you don't realize is that time doesn't move slowly. It moves silently. Days don't announce themselves when they disappear. They don't warn you when they are about to vanish. And one day, you wake up and realize you are no longer who you used to be. You are older. Your energy is different. Your priorities have changed. And the time you thought you had is no longer there. Think about this. You don't remember most random days of your life. You don't remember what you did 3 months ago on a normal Tuesday. You don't remember the countless hours spent scrolling, waiting, procrastinating. Because those moments didn't matter. And that's the scary part. Life isn't just short because of ya. It's just because most of it disappears unnoticed. People think money is the most valuable thing in life. But money can be earned again. Money can be lost and recovered. Money can be multiplied. Time cannot. Every second you spend is gone forever. There is no refund, no reset button, no second chance to relive that exact moment. And yet people spend their time like it's worthless. They trade hours for things they don't care about. They give their attention to things that don't prove their lives. They delay what matters for what is easy. Imagine if every day you were given a fixed amount of money, and whether you didn't use wisely disappeared at the end of the day. You would become extremely careful. You would plan, you would invest wisely, you would avoid wasting even a small amount. But that's exactly how time works. Except people don't treat it that way. The biggest trap in life is not fear, it's comfort. Comfort makes you feel safe, but it slowly destroys your potential. You tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, I'm not ready yet, I need more time. But deep down, you know that's not true. You're not waiting for the right moment, you're waiting to feel comfortable. And comfort is addictive. The more you stay in it, the harder it becomes to live. The longer you delay action, the more your dreams begin to fade, until the day they don't feel like dreams anymore. They feel like something that was never meant for you. There are people who were here before you, who had dreams, who had plans, who thought they had time, and now they are gone. Not because they gave up, but because life ended before they could do what they truly wanted. This is not meant to scare you. It means to wake up you. Because the truth is simple. You don't know how much time you have, and that should not create fear. It should create urgency. Spending your life wisely doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean working every second. It doesn't mean chasing success non-stop. It means being intentionally. It means asking yourself, is this worth my time? Is this helping me grow? Will this matter in 5 years? Because most of the things people stress about today will not matter in the future. And most of the things that truly matter are the things people ignore today. If you knew you only had a limited amount of time left, would you still be doing what you're doing right now? Would you still be scrolling endlessly? Would you still be delaying your dreams? Would you still be afraid to take action? Or would you finally start living the life you know you should be living? The question is the difference between existing and true living. Most people don't wake up and decide to watch their lives. They don't say, today I will ignore my dreams. Today I will choose mediocrity. Today I will delay my potential. No, it happens slowly, quietly, invisibly. It happens in small decisions. The extra hours spent scrolling, the opportunities ignored, the fear you didn't confront, the idea you never acted on. And over time, these small decisions become your life. We are living in the most distracted generation in human history. Never before had so much information, so much entertainment, so much noise being available at all times, and it feels harmless. It's just a few minutes. It helps me relax. It deserves a break. But those few minutes happen every day, and those days turn into years. And one day you realize you've spent more time consuming life than actually living it. Some people are not distracted, they are busy. But being busy is not the same as being productive. You can fill your entire day with activity and still move nowhere in life, because business gives the illusion of progress. You answer emails, you attend meetings, but deep down, you know you are avoiding the one thing that truly matters. The thing that scares you. The thing that challenges you. The thing that could actually change your life. Fear is the invisible force behind the worst of the lives. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being wrong, fear of not being enough. So instead of taking action, people wait. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until everything is perfect. They wait until they are confident. But here's the truth. You will never feel ready. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build by acting. At the end of life, people don't regret the risks they took. They regret the chances they didn't take. They regret the words they didn't say, the life they didn't live, the person they could have become but didn't. Because regret is not loud, it's quiet. It shows up in a moment of reflection, in silence, in the late nights when there are no distractions left, and it whispers, you could have done more. Because deep down, you know what you were capable of. You know the potential you had. You know the dreams you ignored. And the hardest part is not failing. It's knowing you never even tried. Most people don't lack time. They lack awareness. They don't realize how they are spending their days. They don't notice how much time they are losing. Because it doesn't feel like a loss. It feels normal. And that's why it's dangerous. If life is short, then the question becomes, how do you spend it wisely? Stop living on autopilot. Start asking, why am I doing this? Is this aligned with who I want to become? Because if you don't choose your life, someone else will. Your life improves when you remove things, not when you add more. Remove distractions, remove toxic habits, remove unnecessary noise. Because clarity comes from simplicity. There are few actions that change everything, and many that change nothing. The problem is, most people spend their time on easy ones instead of the important ones. Ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do today that would actually move my life forward? And then do that, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable, always will be. If your life is too comfortable, you are not growing. Because it does, start saying no. Start protecting your time. Start treating your hours like something valuable. Because they are. There is a version of you that is stronger, more disciplined, more focused, more fulfilled. But that version of you only exists on the other side of action. If you don't change, nothing changes. Your life will continue exactly as it is. And one day, you will look back and realize you didn't run out of time, you just didn't use it. One day this will all end. not in a dramatic way, not with a warning, just quietly. And when that day comes, the only thing that will matter is, did you live fully? Did you use your time wisely? Did you become who you were meant to be? Because in the end, life is not measured by how long you lived, but by how deeply you lived. Right now, you still have time, you still have a chance, you still have the ability to change everything. So ask yourself, what are you going to do with it?